In this third and final part of our youth ministry training, we will look at how to actually plan out your youth program. I just want to give you an overview. As you have on your roster, which you can download there are 4 teams, and each team is responsible for executing and planning a program every 4 to 5 weeks. It's on a 4-week cycle, but there's some off weeks there as well. So you can take a look at the team schedule there, and you can see which team, which weeks you're assigned to. And you can also see the contact information of your team members as well as everybody that is volunteering. And as you can see, highlighted in gray on there is a team leader for each team. Now the team leader is the one who initiates the planning process and is ultimately responsible for its execution. So that basically means if somebody drops the ball, the team leader is supposed to pick it up. And the team leader, if something fails, if there's a failing in planning, then it's ultimately the team leader who is responsible. So the responsibilities of a team leader are they look at the program plan 2 weeks ahead of time. Then they decide which parts of the program can be reduced or eliminated based on the 1-hour time limit. The Life Teen and Edge programs basically are set up to be an hour and a half, and we only have 60 minutes. So we're going to have to reduce some things, some weeks, cut out things. So it'll be a we trust your judgment, and if you have any questions, feel free to call me or Priscilla, and we can help you make that decision. But don't stress out too much about it. I think it'll be fairly obvious after you've done one and seen how they work, what you would want to cut out. Then, after kind of looking through that and deciding which parts can be reduced or eliminated, and by the way, you have that sample life night there that you can look at. You can see how you could even, where it has the time, tells you how long times takes. It makes it real easy to figure out how to reduce or eliminate certain sections. And then you call, and I have there before emailing, you call other team members to assign different parts of the program. And I say call there because an email is easy to ignore. And email is fine, but we are asking you to call people and describe over the phone, or if you see them personally, if you see them at daily mass or school pickup or whatever, just make a personal contact and explain what you're asking them to do. Whether that's they're supposed to bring materials, they will set up something, maybe they'll run an activity, give a talk, and kind of talk that through them, make sure it's okay with them. And maybe they have some modifications or some ideas on that part of the plan or some other part of the plan. So we want you calling instead of emailing. Obviously, if you can't get a hold of them by call, keep calling, and you can use the email to maybe send a document or something like that. But try to do personal contacts. That'll guarantee that you actually get them to do it, and that there's just not an email sitting there and it comes time for the day and you're like, wait, I thought I emailed you, you're supposed to do this, and so that eliminates that problem by calling. So the team leader also completes a planning sheet and emails to the group email. That would be for, you can write this down if you're a team leader. For Sparks Middle School, it'd be note.sparks@flocknote.com. There's .net. .com, yes. And for high school, it would be note.ignite at flocknote.com. And that's also there on this training site. Now what that'll do, that is supposed to send an email to the entire team, and I mean like all the volunteers, period, so that even the volunteers that aren't there that week can see what's going to happen. But I also ask that you CC it to myself at josh@starofthesea.net if it's for Ignite, or if it's for Sparks, at Priscilla at starofthesea.net. That way, if it doesn't go through the group, we'll have it at least, and then we can go ahead and send it to the group if it for some reason doesn't make it. This is something new we're trying this year, and so we ask that you CC us just to make sure. The team leader also, they may delegate this, and this is great if they can, but we want a take-home half sheet of paper that describes in a very short paragraph what the program was about to the parents, and gives some take-home questions. Usually this is on the Life Teen or Edge program, so all you have to do is on the PDF copy and paste or retype it up. You usually don't have to type it and come up with something on your own. So it's usually pretty easy, but there's a preset template that you can download here on the site that has a nice little logo at the top, and it's a half sheet, so we can cut it in half here at the office and bring it, and they can bring it home. And then finally, writes a one-sentence promotion line for Facebook and email and sends it to me. And that would just be like, we're decorating cars today for this sample life night, or this week, come on out, we're going to be decorating cars, and we're going to have donuts and egg eating contest and all this. Just something to kind of get the excitement going, just like a sentence or two, and then I'll take that, and if I need to edit it a little bit, I will. I'll put it on Facebook and send it out on Flocknote to the families that are signed up for this program. So, planning. When planning your program, the team leader will often need to assign team members to the following tasks. Environment. Plan in advance and get the supplies needed a week before the youth program. It will create a calmer setup time. And in regards to setup time, the team leader should, and this is on the planning sheet that they fill out, say what time that they're going to come in to set up. Our programs are on Sunday, so perhaps the best time would be to come in on Saturday, and you can contact Priscilla or I, and we can meet you over there, unlock the doors, do what we need to do. Or if you need to come early on Sunday morning, particularly before 8:15 Mass, we can do that as well. But be in touch with us as to what your plan is for setup. What you don't want to be doing is, if you go to Mass, just rushing over and trying to get everything set up. Everything needs to be set up by the time the 8:15 Mass starts. Unless you're not going to that Mass, it needs to be ready well in advance, as much as possible. Teachings. The person giving the talk emails an outline of the talk to me on the Monday before the program. That's for both programs, Sparks and Ignite, allowing time to give feedback and any necessary changes. If you're a less experienced presenter, we might rehearse the talk together. Also, skits involve planning, so rehearse in advance. Do not read the script off the page if you can help it. Do not arrive on the day of the youth program and expect to pull it off. You can often call on the peer leaders to give a skit. A lot of them like doing this, so don't be afraid to use those peer leader contacts to do this. The teens deserve your best, so give them your best. Memorize lines, wear costumes, rehearse the scenes. And also, in planning, if they're for prayer, try and get the kids involved. Again, the peer leaders are often willing to do that. Leave that prayer at the end. Audio-visual. This has been one area where I've failed so many times. Set up and test all audio-visual equipment prior to the pre-youth program beginning. I can help with this, again, in advance. That way, any technical errors can be reduced or eliminated. I have a computer that you can use. I usually use a Macintosh, but we also have a PC. Sometimes it's easier if you bring in your own computer, if there's something on it. We also, sometimes in your planning, there will be mentioned a video from a Life Teen resource DVD, and I have some of those, so ask if I have them, and if I do, then we can set that up as well. You can also feel free to use YouTube clips and stuff like that to enhance what you're talking about if you can come up with something that ties into your theme. And food. Contact a food volunteer or assign somebody from the team. For our other programs, for Reunions Fidelis and Confirmation, are doing like a rotating schedule of parents bringing in food, donating food. For this program, because we've already got that going for this, we do have a small budget. I'd say like maybe as much as $10, $15, at the most really dollars a week for snacks. Aside from our big kickoffs and special events, we're just going to have snacks. And we might even try to figure out how we can coordinate with hospitality to maybe have them buy a little bit of extra food that we can take up for our programs. But somebody should be designated to take care of the food, and if anything needs to be bought and they want to be reimbursed up to $15, we can do that. Be in touch with me about that. Executing. The following are the details that need to happen to make the youth program actually happen. Set up an environment, set up audio-visual, walk through the team through the program, preferably the day of, if everyone can get there a little bit early to Mass, if they're going to 8:15 Mass, before Mass. If they're not going to Mass, if they're going to 11 Mass, it makes it a little bit easier in terms of that. It's probably what I'd recommend doing. But you should probably just go through the planning sheet before the program. Any small or large group questions. If you have peer leaders doing some of the small groups, you want to make sure that they have those as soon as they arrive. When you contact them and ask them to lead a small group, you might want to tell them, ask them to arrive early, set a time for them to do that, or email them the questions. If you're separating into groups at any point in the program, make sure that the entire team is aware of this. And, of course, your dress rehearsal if you have a skit. And then finally, there should be a prayer before the program begins, just with the team. Pray for God's will to be done throughout the program, those involved in the program, and that it would meet our overall goal of bringing souls to Christ and fulfilling the Great Commission to evangelists. And finally, cleanup. Everybody should be helping out as much as possible. Now, there may be one person that really likes to talk to the kids, and that's fine. That's one of the gifts God has given them. And there might be another person that would prefer not to talk to kids and to be putting stuff away. And that's okay, but as the kids leave, some of them will be willing to help, and there should never just be one person left over doing everything. We have a cleanup checklist for the gym that the middle school should use, and that list, some of that can apply towards cleaning up the school cafeteria as well. We will put a list up there. I'll make sure that list is up here on our site that you can download that as well. It's a checklist of things to make sure before you leave. And evaluation. Take some time, team leaders, to evaluate the program. Even as you're passing, you can ask your members how that goes or anything we should have done differently, and just take note of it for next time. And then team leaders should thank their team members for all their hard work and affirm them, and then close, if possible, then close your time together in thanksgiving and praise to God. And then finally, one detail before you do your program, as soon as possible, this form is on this page here, down there at the bottom. Please complete the online agreement form. I have your peer leader agreement form. It's actually just an agreement form for adults. Our peer leaders have one too, by the way, but yours has some extra liability stuff on it that you need to sign. And so please make sure you do that before you volunteer. And thank you very much. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at 627-8925 or josh@staroftheseat.net. And thank you so much for volunteering and for giving of your time and gifts and talents for our young people.